Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Phan. For anyone who's ever made a list of things to do before they die, I'm almost sure that skydiving falls on that list somewhere. It is daring, it is exhilarating, and as we're about to find out, it's the experience of a lifetime. If there's one thing that comes with age, it is definitely wisdom. So before anyone asks why I didn't jump myself, I want to take you back to May of 2009 when I went to Colombia and thought it'd be a good idea to jump off a mountain and go paragliding.
Luisito, Thuy, good luck. 1, 2,
Vamos,
three.
corre.
Oh my God.
Not so good. I got so nauseous I was throwing up in the air the entire time. I didn't want to put myself or anyone through that again, so I was more than happy to watch others do it and learn from them. So yes, that's exactly why I'm not jumping. That brings us to Pacific Coast Skydiving in San Diego, where a group of young friends decided to go together. It is the first time for many of the jumpers, but for others, it is a repeat affair and the excitement is palpable.
So hôm nay là Hải có mặt ở dưới San Diego để đi nhảy dù parachute skydiving. Tại vì Hải muốn làm, tại vì lần này là lần đầu tiên Hải nhảy. Ở trong hồi xưa thì có mấy người bạn đi thì họ nói là vui, nhưng mà hồi xưa thì có lẽ hơi nhát, cho nên bây giờ thì hôm nay là hơi kệ đi, cứ nhảy cho là biết để có kinh nghiệm thôi.
This will be my third time and something crazy to do. And when T mentioned, hey, coming out to the West Coast and do it, I was like, I'm all for it.
I'm celebrating my 30th birthday party. Woo! So I'm going skydiving off of South San Diego. And I just wanted to do it because I've always wanted to skydive, and this is like the perfect time. If I die, oh well. I've lived 30 years, yeah.
Just once in a lifetime, you know, like, you know, kind of like those bucket lists, you know, just got things that you want to do before you die, you know? So I figure it's one of those things. Just got to do it, you know?
Right now, I'm actually very calm. I'm a little nervous, a little jittery. I wouldn't say like, you know, at this very moment, no, I'm not scared. But I think once I'm in the plane and about to jump out, I'm going to be scared like hell, like I've never been before. And everything I'm thinking of is that when I'm falling, you know, it's like, am I going to make it alive safely on the ground? But the fact is that you want to kind of enjoy the moment you're in the air as well.
Andy Rowell, who owns Pacific Coast Skydiving, has been doing this for over 20 years and has logged over 11,000 jumps. You could say he's an expert on the sport.
What we usually do is you go ready, set, go, and a lot of times we'll do a flip or like a kind of like a barrel roll as we leave the aircraft. And what it does is it feels like floating in a pool. There's no falling sensation whatsoever, just because what will happen is actually we're going forward at about 80 miles an hour, and we slowly keep going slower and slower, and then we actually speed up again, going 80, 70, 60, 70, 80, and then we fall all the way down until we reach about 120 miles an hour. And to some of the girls that just jumped, and people that have jumped, it feels like you're floating. There's no falling sensation. You don't really notice the wind. It's about 125 mile an hour wind. But it's because there's really no pressure, like you're not in a car holding your body back. All of your body's in that wind. It's just very relaxing. It's very relaxing.
Andy and his team of instructors can jump 10 times each, so you can imagine it's different for them than it is for us.
You guys, obviously, when you first jump, it's really exciting. It's the anticipation, all the stuff. For us, it's not so much. If you do really bad, we'll get the adrenaline because you'll be scaring us. But for the most part, it's living vicariously through you guys. So like when you get all excited and amped up, it's fun to be there with that, you know, all the crazy stuff you say. Like Halloween, you don't dress up, but if you have little nieces and nephews, you got to do the candy and it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, yeah.
A lot of people see skydiving as really scary because you jump out of the airplane and you're falling at really fast speeds, 10,000 feet above the ground. But when you're up there, it's almost like you're in space and you're just floating and you're looking around and it's really peaceful. I mean, granted you have the wind blowing past your ears and it's loud in that way, but at least for me, I just enjoyed the view and it's awesome. It's just awesome.
One aspect to skydiving that may be a bit of a misconception is the danger involved.
Statistically speaking, you have a better chance of being bit by a shark. You have a better chance of being hit by lightning than dying skydiving. With that being said, if you don't want to get bit by a shark, don't swim in the ocean. You know, so if you don't want to die skydiving, don't skydive. But for the most part, a tandem is the safest way statistically to make your first jump.
They do this hundreds of times a week, you know, thousands of times a year, probably. So, you know, I'm not worried. You guys are professionals. Their lives are on the line, and I feel pretty safe. So they don't want to die either. No, they don't want to die either.
One of the skydiving instructors at Pacific Coast, Brian Gall, recently broke a state record for head-down skydiving.
So head down is a body position in skydiving, and it's just that. It's your head is the first thing into the wind. Like these are your feet up here. You're flying upside down, and you're kind of hanging off the air on your calves. We fly a lot of position, like we're flying on our arms here and our legs back behind us. And what we're doing is just like any formation in skydiving that, you know, anybody has seen, where, you know, they're making those big pictures. We're doing the same thing. We're just upside down. So that's a lot harder, because if you think of balancing, you know, what is easier to balance on the wind on your stomach or on your head? It's much more twitchy, you know, slight movements have a lot bigger impact. You could also imagine that since we're vertical, we're going faster. So a normal free fall speed on your stomach would be not even 120 miles an hour. Somebody told me we were averaging 190 throughout that. So we set 58 people all linked in our formation together, and we were jumping at 16,000 feet. We had oxygen in the plane. We were in 3 separate planes, and this was over Paris Valley, California, so Skydive Paris, just south of Riverside. And yeah, the base, the center of the formation leaves out of the lead plane, and then we have 2 trail planes. So 20 in each plane, everybody streams out and follows that base out, and timing is so critical. Like if this is the door right here, I mean, everybody is packed right up into that. You have to be straight, you know, you can't be bent over like this, because if everybody in the door is bent over like that, well, then it just stages people that far out in the airplane. Everybody has to be as close as they can, so that as soon as that base leaves, as soon as the center of the formation leaves, we're out and we're diving to it fast. So we come down to it, we stop on level, we come into our slots, and then we wait for it to build from the inside out, and we pick up our grips. And then there's stage break-offs, because, you know, you've got a lot of people. So the outer part of the ring, I believe, was breaking at 6,500 feet. So they're tracking off, getting separation, and then opening their parachutes at 5. I was leaving at 5 and opening at 3. And then the lead, the center of the formation was leaving at like 4 and opening at about 2,500. So it's real staged. Everybody gets nice and spread apart. You would see it from the sky, just like, you know, a bunch of birds tracking away from each other. And yeah, that's my favorite part of skydiving, is I like the big formations, but I also like, I know, it's all your friends. And once again, like I said before, you know, it's kind of being calm in that intense moment. You get a lot of performance anxiety in that, because not only are you doing something extreme, but you don't want to mess up and ruin, you know, 60 other people's skydives. You don't want to be that guy. So you have to be patient, and you have to be smooth. Because if you bump the formation at all, it sends waves through it, you know, just like a wave that would whip through. So you have to dock and fly your slot really efficiently.
Now, if that isn't cool to the power of awesome, I don't know what is. That's how the professionals roll, and with over 5,000 jumps, that's a whole other level of skydiving. What we'll see here today are tandem jumps for beginners, and although they don't do any crazy tricks, their experience is no less exhilarating. First things first, you have to sign a bunch of waivers that basically release the company from any liability should anything go wrong.
Hôm nay chắc chưa có dám gọi cho ba mẹ biết. Có lẽ nhảy xong rồi mới dám gọi phone về nói cho ba mẹ biết.
You know, I didn't tell my mom at all whether or not, that I'm going to be jumping. I want to say to the camera that should anything happen to me, everything I own, my bank account, my savings, whatever I have that I own in my name, it's all hers, okay? So just for safety reasons, if anything happens, okay?
I think if my mom knows, she might have a heart attack, so I kind of saved her from the fact of knowing what's going on. My siblings all know that I'm jumping though, so yeah. Let's hope I'm not going to be on tonight's news.
If you pull on that black strap, that's
Once you
actually
sign
the
your
release
life
for all the
away, the
handles.
next
It's a
part is
release
getting
from us.
harnessed into your parachute and
that
listening
black
to
strap.
instructions.
No, that black
Here
strap
they are
right there?
pretty
Yeah.
simple since they don't want you to worry too much about the technical aspects so you can enjoy your time. Since you'll be with an experienced instructor, you should be in good hands. Now, although I didn't jump, I did do the next best thing, which is fly up with 2 of the jumpers to film them. Trust me, I was more than happy to stay in the safety of the plane. The harnesses aren't all that comfortable to wear, but I imagine you'd rather be strapped in really well versus being a little loose, falling from the sky. Just having the parachute on made me feel excited, so I can't even imagine the adrenaline the real jumpers are feeling in preparation for their jump.
Worked fine? Awesome.
Once you're strapped in and ready to go, you head out to the small plane, which will take you above the San Diego harbor, and from where you jump, you also get to see parts of Mexico.
What's your name, girl?
Thuy. Nice to meet you.
I think it's one of the coolest jobs. Yeah, I absolutely love it. My son can come to work and we get to live, you know, it's like Christmas for us. Every day somebody wins the lottery. They come back and they're having a bad time, you know, having a bad life, and they come and skydive and then everything's perfect. There's no more anything. For at least a day or two, they're gonna be on cloud 9 and we're a part of that. So every single person comes back, they're nervous and scared and then they get back and they're happy and rejoicing and they're, you know, full of life. And we're there every single time for every single person. So no, it's like Christmas every day.
And so, their journey begins. Coming up after the break, find out what happens when they finally take that plunge. You definitely don't want to miss it. Stay with us.